Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Game Things. I'm your host for the week, Ming, and our main focus for today will be covering news from Gamescom. So the first thing that I'm going to cover today is about Black Myth Wukong. So recently, Black Myth Wukong got a brand new trailer from Gamescom, and at the same time, IGN also did a video about it because they got a demo of around 45 minutes, and they played through the demo, and this is basically what they had to say. Black Myth Wukong is definitely one of the best games they have seen in a long while. This is because the game itself has a pretty high skill ceiling, so somewhat similar to things like Elden Ring and Dark Souls, but the way you actually play out the game doesn't feel as slow paced as those titles. Instead, it feels a bit more like Devil May Cry, but a bit more toned down. So it's kind of a bit faster pace as compared to Dark Souls or Elden Ring. Aside from that, the visuals of the game are just absolutely insane. IGN's video featured like 3 of the main early game bosses, and damn, those bosses look really good design wise, and you can even see like the pixels on them. Sheesh, insane. But what really impressed me aside from that is that a lot of the gameplay footage was actually really impressive. The bosses don't feel like super slow or anything like that, and their patterns are pretty unique. So you won't really feel like you're fighting against the same boss over and over again, and it doesn't feel boring, at least from what was showcased by IGN. And right now, at this point of time, a lot of people kind of have the same general idea about this game, and they are thinking that it's gonna be a very good game. And personally, I agree as well. Hopefully, the game isn't too hyped up to the extent whereby it ends up becoming a cyberpunk scenario. I don't think it's gonna happen, but well, fingers crossed. Let's hope that when it's released, supposedly next year, it will come out as a fully fleshed out and complete game, which is absolutely stunning and will most definitely win Game of the Year as long as it comes out. Moving on from Black Myth Wukong, I'm gonna talk about Tekken 8. So Tekken 8 was revealed and it will be available in 26th of January next year, and Tekken 8 will feature a cast of 32 characters. Aside from those 32 characters, there will also be brand new single player modes. Now, why do I want to highlight this single player mode? Because I think it's kind of interesting. So how this single player mode works is effectively you will control something like a Wii Sport character, and you will just kind of go around in an arcade setting and you play Tekken using your Wii Sport character, which is kind of a weird and interesting gimmick, I guess. It's kind of like you control a character within the game that is playing a game. So yeah, I mean it's a bit weird. I don't really know how to explain it exactly, but editor, put the clip out there, put the clip up there, people will get it once they see it. Anyways, so Tekken 8, aside from the original cast of 32 characters, will also feature certain DLC characters that will come in the future. Next, I'm gonna cover a title that you guys will definitely be excited for, and that title is Little Nightmares 3. Yes, you heard that correctly. Little Nightmares 2 will have a sequel. So once again, you'll be in the Little Nightmare world and you will play, the general story, and you have the rather thrilling atmosphere and you can enjoy that grotesque story. But what makes Little Nightmare 3 different compared to Little Nightmare 2 is that in Little Nightmares 3, there will be two-player modes. So yes, finally we are getting two-player modes and you can control two characters at the same time, which is definitely really cool and definitely gives way to a lot of new and interesting puzzles for players to solve. Unfortunately, that's basically all the news we have for Little Nightmares 3. So if you intend to know more about it from us, then make sure you stay subscribed to our channel and click on the notification bell so whenever we have any brand new news on the title, we will be sure to be able to update you as soon as it's available. Moving on from Little Nightmares 3, I'm gonna talk about Killing Floor. Specifically, Killing Floor 3. So Killing Floor 3 was just announced and we got a first look on the brand new title. So in terms of the announcement trailer itself, there isn't really too much that was really showcased aside from the fact that we have a zombie that is really, really jacked. And when I mean jacked, he's kind of wired with a crap ton of electronics, making him look more like a super soldier instead of an actual zombie. Aside from that, we also did get a couple of glimpses of gameplay, and damn, you do not want to face those zombies because they look like really, really, really terrifying. And that was basically it that was shown in the announcement trailer. Really, not a lot aside from the fact that, Super Soldier Zombie, and also the fact that the game will only be available on PS5 upon release. No clue if it'll be available on other platforms, but presently, according to the trailer, it's only available on the PS5, but we'll keep you guys updated. So moving on from Killing Floor 3, we also have brand new live action trailer for Payday 3. So personally, I don't really understand why they went with a live action trailer, mainly because nowadays for us gamers, we look at one thing and one thing only: gameplay footage and gameplay footage. A live action trailer is cool and all because it features the rapper and actor Ice-T, but aside from that, I personally would have just preferred a normal trailer where I can see brand new gameplay, because a live action trailer doesn't really cut it. But hey, if a live action trailer is your thing, then by all means, go ahead and look at the brand new Payday 3 trailer, and you'll probably not be disappointed. Moving on, we're gonna talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 that did their showcase at Gamescom. So personally, from what I've seen so far for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, it doesn't seem too crazy. The campaign and the zombies mission looks great, but that's about it, honestly. The missions and the open world concept is alright. The open world is, if you ask me, kinda mid, but well, most of the time if you play Call of Duty, you play mainly, well, multiplayer, or you play zombies and you play campaign. So I guess basically they tick all the general boxes. So yeah. Anyways, that's all of the titles that we'll cover from Gamescom. If there's any other interesting news that will be released over the next few days, we'll be sure to keep you guys updated via another video. Next, we're gonna move on to my editor's favorite game, Destiny 2. So Destiny 2 recently had their final shape showcase where they go through all the upcoming seasons. The first one being Season of the Witch, which is season number 22. And Season of the Witch will have the Crocia's End raid, which is coming on the 1st of September. For Season 23, there will be in-game LFG. And for the expansion releasing on the 27th of February next year, there will be a brand new location, the Pale Heart, brand new darkness enemy called Subjugators, brand new supers for Void, Solar, and Arc, new weapon subfamilies, and a new episode formula. So how these brand new episode formulas will work is that it will no longer be in a seasonal format. Instead, the episodes will be released in threes. So it'll be 3 episodes per year, which is, well, depending on how you see it, good or potentially bad, because bad in the sense that you might get lesser content. Good is because, well, at least now things are more scheduled and you will know for sure that you get 3 per year. But yeah, that's basically all the coverage that I'll be doing on Destiny 2, and now we move on to some other news that might be of interest, starting off with Ghostrunner 2. So Ghostrunner 2 will be available on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC on the 26th of October. And Ghostrunner 2 will come in 3 different versions. The first base version, which is $39.99, will include 2 sword skins and 2 hand skins. The deluxe version will be $49.99 and will include everything in the base game plus 4 additional hand skins and 4 additional sword skins, as well as a personalized hand hologram. Then the last but not least, the Brutal Edition, which is $69.99, will include everything in the deluxe version and 48 hours of early access. Now, personally, if you ask me, I would say if you are a fan of the game, the deluxe edition will probably suffice because let's be real, paying additional $20 for 2 days worth of additional access, not really worth it. If you're telling me that it's something like, for example, a collector's figurine or something like that, maybe, just maybe it might be worth it. But really, 2 days of early access? Nah, not it, man. But, well, if you really, really like the game, then by all means, go for the early access. But otherwise, if you just want to support the game and genuinely enjoy the game, just go for the deluxe version. It's more than enough. Next, we're going to talk about HYENAS, specifically their closed beta, which is set to begin on the 31st of August and will run until the 11th of September. During the beta, players will be able to play 8 specialists and, well, basically enjoy the game for what it is. If you ask me personally, I would say that HYENAS look pretty interesting and it's really worth looking at, honestly, despite the fact that it feels a bit weird, but I really like the concept and I think it will end up as a pretty decent game overall. So, if possible, I would probably try to get into the closed beta and, enjoy the game while it's still in its testing phase. And I would highly suggest you guys check it out too if you guys are available. So, yeah, moving on from Hyena, I'm gonna talk about Starfield. So Starfield has officially gone gold, so all you Xbox players can actually preload the game right now, and the game will be available on Steam on the 30th of August, and you can preload it and enjoy it as soon as it's released. So that's basically all of the minor news that we have for this week. Next, I'm going to talk about some rather depressing news, starting off with Alan Wake 2. So Alan Wake 2 has officially been pushed from 17th of October to 27th of October, still this year, which is a good thing, effectively making it a 10-day delay. So there are speculations as to why they decided to push it back by 10 days, and the main reason is they want to avoid the release of Spider-Man 2 and Super Mario Bros. Wonder, because they are releasing on the same week as well. Anyways, if you guys were planning to get Alan Wake 2 on release, be sure to take note of this so that you guys don't, feel disappointed when the game isn't out on its original intended date. Moving on from Alan Wake 2, we have Pacific Drive, which has been delayed to early 2024 with no particular reason as to why the delay is taking place. But in any case, I would say still decent, early 2024 is like about 5 to 6 months away, so not the worst thing in the world. So now we move on to some games that you can grab your hands on right now. Starting off with Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, available on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series S and X, Xbox One, and PC. So Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon will definitely be a game that you want to try, just because of the fact that it's a mech game, and damn, the mechs look really good, and the combat, sheesh! Then we move on to Fort Solis, available on PS5 and PC. So what is Fort Solis about? Fort Solis is a narrative-based game where you play as a character that is in a sci-fi setting, and basically you're in a fort, and well, you're trying to get out of the fort, basically like that, and you just clear some puzzles and you explore the fort and try and get out of it. It's supposed to be a psychological thriller game, and it gives off the vibe of one, but the downside, or perhaps plus side about this game, is that the character can only slow walk. So the slow walk definitely adds to more tension in the game. It creates a more thrilling atmosphere, if you will. But because most games right now have a quote unquote fast walk, being able to play the game only on a walking speed is really yikes. So you guys might want to consider this particular bit before committing into the game. But hey, if this doesn't affect you at all, I would say maybe give Fort Solis a shot, because it's a about 4 hour long game that has a pretty decent story, just at a somewhat slower pace. Moving on from Fort Solis, we have Immortals of Aveum, available on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. So Immortals of Aveum is a FPS game, but instead of your generic guns and magazines, you use magic. So yeah, basically somewhat similar to Forspoken, just that it's an FPS. So while I compare it to Forspoken, this game definitely is unlike Forspoken at all, because it's still an FPS. You are shooting magic bullets. Those magic bullets really feel like, well, magic bullets, unlike Forspoken, where sometimes the spell can be rather slow, right? It's really just rapid fire bullets. And aside from that, this game has a couple of different guns, I guess. Like, you can cast your magic differently to have different type of guns, so it gives you a lot of different options on how you want to deal with your enemies. All in all, I would say if you're looking for a different FPS experience, definitely give Immortals of Aveum a shot. Then now we move on to our last and final title that I will cover today, and it's Blasphemous 2, available now on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Blasphemous 2 is a Metroidvania type of game, so basically a 2D platformer. And from what I've seen so far, Blasphemous 2 is actually pretty different compared to a lot of Metroidvania type of games. What makes it different exactly? So in a lot of Metroidvania type of games, the progression is somewhat linear, whereby you will always unlock new features, and then from there you get access to new areas of the map. But what makes Blasphemous 2 different is that how you access these new areas of the map is based on your weapon. And this weapon, you can kind of choose the order in which you get the weapons, which effectively means that your run might be completely different from another person's run, because it's entirely based upon on how you choose your weapons and the orders in which you get your weapon. Because everything is based on your weapon choice. You unlock brand new areas using your weapon, which I think is really cool compared to a lot of other Metroidvania games out there, because it really just makes it non-linear and you can kind of freely just explore the map however you want based on your own weapon choice, which is really great. In terms of gameplay and art style, it's generally really good. Some of the scenes, like some of the cutscenes in the game itself, instead of it being pixelated, is actually full-on fleshed out animated cutscenes, which actually is a breath of fresh air. It looks really different compared to everything you see in the game itself, and I really think it enhances the experience overall. And that basically leads us to our last and final segment, free things. So this week, Epic Games Store is giving out one game, which is Homeworld Deserts of Karak. Be sure to get the game right now while it's still available. And yeah, that marks the end of our episode. Once again, I was your host for the week, Ming, and we'll see you in the next episode of Game Things.